Hey everyone, I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Today I thought I'd take the opportunity to talk about what I actually do in my current contract as a program manager. Now, I thought I'd do this not necessarily, showing different videos and stuff and all this kind of jazz there. No, I work from home. This is my home, okay? So I'm going to do it that way where essentially I just talk to you what I specifically do. Okay, now the way I'm going to do it is I'll start from what I probably tackle first, and then I'll probably branch off in terms of what I do later on, but it may vary depending on the week and whatever it may be. So this is a rough sort of like guide or rough sort of like outline of what I do. So let's get into it. So the first thing I do is I check my calendar ASAP, and the reason I check my calendar is because I want to see if there's anything urgent that I need to address. I don't like jumping on whether it's at 8:30, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever it may be, and not really necessarily knowing what's going on first thing. Now, of course, I could check it last thing before I sort of like log off the day before, but I don't trust my brain, I don't trust my brain. So I make sure that I check my calendar. That's the first thing. So obviously that's connected to Outlook. So go into the Outlook, I skip the emails and I go straight to the calendar. Okay. Sometimes I do this via MS Teams instead because obviously it syncs up. So that's the first thing. The second thing I do is check my action log and workbook. So what is a workbook? So for me, in order for me to maintain a level of, I guess, accountability, assurance, rhythm, discipline, and just knowing what's happening, I have a program workbook. Now, this program workbook essentially houses all the key things I need to know about. So this is actions, okay? So it has my action log on there. Of course, you can use something like a Kanban board to do this, but I'm still very much happy using, Excel, and it does depend what organization you're in. There are some instances where I've used, again, not Microsoft Project, but the Planner tool, which is very similar to Trello or Asana or anything like that, where it's typical Kanban. You can write in the comments, all that kind of stuff there. That has been very useful, especially from a team perspective. But the tab as an action log is perfectly fine. Another sort of like tab that I've created is almost like a program outlook sort of like tab. And essentially there is an overall sort of like status of the program. There's also things like cost and resource that are associated with it, and any other additional things that I think are necessary to ensuring that not just me, but someone else understands what's going on, because I make this open access to anyone. And again, those are associated to RAG statuses, and each program has a similar function as well where I can see what's going on from that standpoint. So at least that way, if things are not really understood or not clear, I can quickly go in and just be like, hey, this is what needs to be done, whatever. So there's those two tabs. The other tab that I have is a work schedule one. So essentially this is a plan, if you want to see it like that, a Gantt chart, a plan that expresses where we should be. Are we today? Are we on track? All of that kind of stuff there. So the work schedule is very important. Now, the other two that I'm going to mention are also very important. It also includes the risks and issues, which are separated. Risks being things that may happen, and then obviously issues are things that are happening right now. Following on from that, there's also the lessons learned log, and I also have any decisions. I don't really track many assumptions, if I'm honest with you, but I also have decisions within this space, key decisions that need to be made, as well as benefits. Now, I could probably do a separate video talking about this stuff in a bit more detail. I'm going to leave it there, okay? So action log, okay, I spoke about the workbook, but really it's the action log that I'm looking at. Really, really important stuff. Now, the next thing I do after that is, okay, I look at any actions that haven't been actioned, okay? And I go straight to my emails. I may go to my emails, I may go to MS Teams. It doesn't really matter. I find a way to communicate and follow up on actions that have not been complete, whether this is day to day, week to week, or whatever it may be. And so I respond to any emails I've received the previous day, chase up any actions, and I escalate any queries that have come my way through meetings that I've had. So that's essentially what I do there. Now, following on from that, there will be sort of like key meetings I'm either chairing or attending. Now, this is a combination between many different stuff. So of course, this is looking through the lens of a month or a quarter. So in this current contract I'm in, there aren't daily stand-ups, but I do meet with people daily on an ad hoc basis. That definitely happens because I have an open door policy, but it's remote, it's weird. Anyway, so there's that. There is definitely weekly progress meetings that I have with the team. And this is where they can give me an update in terms of not just what's actually happening, but how they're feeling as well. And if there's anything we can do to try to sort of like improve things. And this is where we go to the workbook and update that workbook. It's very important that that discipline is there. It's usually for an hour or whatever it may be. There's also progress update meetings that I have individually with each project manager or pillar manager or work stream manager. Okay. And this is where they give me their update in terms of what's happening in their world. So it all kind of cascades up. Then there's also meetings that I had between myself and the senior responsible officer and or the senior change manager as well. And this is where they basically tell me what's happening from a portfolio or organization level. That informs what I tell the rest of the team. And then obviously the senior change manager basically highlights what's happening in the business and how that informs what needs to be done as well. So there's a tripartite relationship there. It either happens on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. Okay. When I say bi-weekly, what I really mean is twice a week rather than every 2 weeks or once a week, depending on what's happening. So we just meet up and we have a half an hour conversation around that stuff. Then there may be situations, not maybe, there is situations where there are also steering group sessions where I might just sit in and listen in. Sometimes I may present, but it's basically listening to very executive, very senior stakeholders who are setting the tone, the direction of the program in honor of the portfolio and or the organization. And then obviously the thing that the crescendo point for me is essentially the board sessions. Okay, so the board meetings are very important because this is where all the reports are collated. All this work that I've done to corral all this information from different people comes into this one board session that happens on a monthly basis, maybe quarterly for some people, to ensure that there is the right level of accountability. So I'm saying that all to say that these meetings are key. These meetings are very essential. And this is where essentially what I'm doing is I'm consulting, okay? I'm updating or I'm coaching, also chairing it from time to time. It just depends. And so it's really gathering information and it's working with people to get that information or use the information that I gathered to present it in a way that's coherent and communicated effectively. Okay, so that's that. The following thing that I do is I may update key documents. Okay, so this typically is scoping documents. So these may be charters, these may be business plans or business cases or whatever it may be. This may be planning documents and also briefings that maybe executive members or senior leaders may need for another meeting within the business. Okay, and of course, the following thing I do from that is I also like to make sure that people's stuff is up to date. Okay, you can take things for granted. You can let people say what is happening within their world or whatever it may be. But if you're not actually drilling down into their workbooks themselves or looking at their plans or assessing and following up with actions or whatever it may be, it gets lost. People get lazy. So I am the enforcer, okay? I'm working for the LAPD or whatever it may be. I'm the person who's making sure things are done. But, with my sort of like friendly vibe and nature, I would like to think it helps at least anyway. But there is a time to be friendly and there's a time to be firm, okay? Not disrespectful, but firm. So I may sort of like leave any comments on different workbooks and documents. I may go back and forth with challenge, support, etc., etc., etc. And so that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what I do as a program manager within this space. Again, it'd be interesting to know what you guys do. So let me know if that's similar to you. If you're a project or program manager, you can comment below. Or if there are any ideas for future videos that you'd like to see centered around this stuff. So hopefully that was helpful. And if you want to see more videos like this or centered around life management or portfolio careers, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And as always, my friends, understand, reach, and expand. Peace.